Welcome back to the Peepo Coin channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today, as usual. So, wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. I have to start with this from an XRP expert before we discuss XRP. One collaboration at a time isn't all that XRP is doing. Global finance is being run through tokenization, institutional brokerage, and blockchain bridges. What is the wormhole integration of a significant partner for the XRP ledger? RP ledger. Advantages include the ease with which tokenized assets in XRP can be transferred to Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, and more than 30 chains. By collaborating on a significant event, SBI Holdings' introduction of XRP Ledger, NFT increases uptake and visibility. The corporate XRP treasury is launched by Triton, aptitude for institutional yield combined with Vivo power. You earn that passive revenue in this way. Guggenheim updates the XRP ledger with digital debt. U.S. Treasury securities are tokenized on the XRP ledger by Ondo Finance. South Korea's custody agreement between VDAX and Ripple. And these are only a few of the developments affecting Ripple and XRP. Numerous more announcements have also been made. We can even observe Ripple partners continuing to install rails all around the world. Additionally, many still believe that XRP is a worthless coin. It is still widely held that Ripple will never collaborate with banks. Ripple is on the verge of becoming a real bank, the first bank in the world to handle Ripple's Relu stablecoin. Providing custody and trading services to institutional clients is Amina Bank, a Swiss-regulated organization. This marks a significant turning point for the real-world adoption of Ripple's digital currency. Rail after rail, integration after integration, as I mentioned. Additionally, this will persist throughout 2025, 2026, 2027, and beyond. This is still in its early phases. Hold off till that institutional wave arrives. Await the widespread adoption of XRP and RippleNet. Smoke is the source of this. In the future, XRP and XLM will probably have a fixed fiat value to facilitate blockchain-based money transactions. See for yourself the fixed value of XRP, XLM, and fiat currencies. Every conversation we ever had was recorded along the way. As you can see, they are more likely to accept financial transfers that have been made possible by blockchain technology. Examples of networks with constant value in terms of fiat currency are the Stellar and Ripple networks. In this way, XRP and XLM become the future's high-value, stable coins that the IMF discussed. However, where would the fixed value originate? In contrast to the separate balance sheets of proprietary institutions, I told your audience today that cryptocurrency is much more than just a new asset class. Rather, it is a new financial architecture that uses the internet as the foundation for determining who owns what and who is transferring what to whom. It's a new protocol and framework for creating value. Thus, consider it this way. The price on the secret ledger was something we were always aware of. And I always assumed that XRP will have a fixed price after the banks concluded the testing phase. The same thing will happen with XLM, and since it must be able to move all of that value every day, the price will be high no matter what. Therefore, a fixed price makes perfect sense. XRP is equivalent to Amazon or Netflix. Listen to this out. If you were an online investor in 2004, you may have made the decision to place your money on the top business in the top industry, and that was Google and search in 2004. The internet was not just for searching. Amazon was a retailer as well. It was Salesforce, and it was B2B. Netflix was the source of the video. In fact, since then, Netflix has increased by 100,000%. And in order to connect it to our previous discussion, I brought it up as an analogy for cryptocurrency. Right now, it's the greatest project in the greatest location. It is comparable to Google in 2004. Crypto can do more than merely act as a decentralized non-government store of value. But I have a strong suspicion that it will be an excellent investment over the next 20 years. Additionally, there are the comparable versions of Netflix, Salesforce, and Amazon. For this reason, we are diversified holders and do of these additional use cases. We prefer Ethereum, XRP, and Solana, and I believe that's a good analogy to keep in mind. It's not that the investors in Google were mistaken. They were correct. They increased it by 7,000%. Simply put, there were Netflix and Amazon as well. In addition to the internet, blockchain technology offers additional possibilities for activity. Because of this, utility will eventually be worth more than Bitcoin, because holding something that accomplishes nothing eventually becomes monotonous. You want to be in possession of something that genuinely addresses a real-world issue. And that's even more thrilling since you might be able to leverage it to give your company a competitive advantage. Recall that in 5 years, we will be more than simply Amazon books. We are Amazon, according to Brad Garlinghouse. To be honest, I believe that Ripple will surpass Amazon in size. In my opinion, XRP will eventually be worth more than Amazon. Amazon was fantastic, to be sure, but consider the times we live in now. Take a look at how technology has led us to this point. It will now extend far beyond our current location. People don't want to make transactions over the weekend and then wait for the money to leave their bank on Monday morning. So Ripple and XRP will be very important as technology continues to advance and people seek rapid gratification. Over a holiday weekend Tuesday morning, they want to be able to swipe their card and watch as the funds instantly depart the bank. It is their desire for transactions to occur in real time and to be inexpensive. Because of this, XRP will be widely adopted. As I previously stated, Ripple will surpass Amazon in size. Watch and see. Everyone laughed at us when we used to discuss XRP being used by the banks and XRP being connected to the Fed. They used to say that would never happen. And even along the way, they would always cite whatever the next big thing was to drop. Experts say that every XRP conspiracy theory is now playing out in real time, and it definitely is. The XRP killer is that. You cannot reproduce XRP, which is why there isn't an XRP killer. Additionally, Ripple spent 10 years building the rails that XRP will run on. Guess what will happen tomorrow when something appears that some are referring to as the XRP killer? They didn't have the previous 10 years to set up the necessary infrastructure for the coin to function. The facilities are already in place. The future lies in XRP. Nay. Boom, CNBC. When Ripple produces news, the mainstream media must cover it because of integration, which is why Ripple's application for a bank charter is the reason why they can no longer ignore XRP or Ripple. This is progress. Does invention occur in real time? They had a limited amount of time to disregard XRP and Ripple. At some point, the story will actually change. They will no longer be discussing Bitcoin on a daily basis. Additionally, they immediately attempt to refocus the conversation on Bitcoin, even when someone else wants to discuss something else. Have you ever noticed that? However, the era of a new financial system is upon us. The introduction of new legislation by Senator Cynthia Lummis to lower taxes on XRP and other cryptocurrencies is breaking news. Once more, they attempted to market this as Bitcoin exclusively. Therefore, a $300 transaction won't be considered taxable. However, it will constitute a taxable event if it exceeds, say, $600. However, they didn't actually discuss, say, $301 to $599. However, this is a wise course of action. This will eventually lead to the possibility of no taxes on cryptocurrency produced in the U.S. However, this law relates to digital assets, not a law pertaining to Bitcoin. What irritates me the most, more than anything else, is their constant attempts to distinguish Bitcoin from other cryptocurrencies, as if it were